All right, there we go. Welcome into Trust the Process Live. We're here with you. And boys, it's time to talk about them Sixers. We haven't done it much, but we're going to do it right now. Before we get into that, I'm your host here, James Hyden, with my guys. They're in a little bit different spots today. Let me fix that real quick. Dosh Clock, Josh Saffron, how are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. We got toasted, as I was just saying, in the NFL slate this weekend. The Chiefs. But listen, gentlemen, this all you got to do sometimes is you tip your cap to Joey B. And as he said, Cartier glasses. I don't even peek at you. I mean, he's the man. If you don't like Joe Burrow, you don't like sports, and I'll take my lumps on that one. But I'm good, Bannerman. I'm good. How are you doing?
Me, I'm busy. I told myself I didn't work. I didn't want to work a 9 to 5, and now I work 24/7. So that's just how it goes. The man of many digits. Hopefully less digits than I worked. Max Coolish. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a good time for the Sixers to be playing well with all this sub freezing temperature going on lately. I definitely have been watching a little bit more hoops than usual across the board. Not even just Sixers, just a little bit more NBA in general. So it's been a good time for those things to kind of line up.
It has been a good time. Do I spy a new chair?
No. You might notice I got like a neck pillow.
That's what it is.
It look
all right.
different. Yeah,
there it is.
I didn't even notice this was supposed to be the other side. So it's not noticeable, but whatever.
As Max talked about right there, it is a good time for the Sixers. They are 16-4 in their last 20 games. So, gentlemen, let's get right into it. There's no new topics for the 76ers.
Sucks.
At least not since the start of the season. There are new angles on these topics, but there are no new topics. So let me just I'm gonna lay this one out for you, right on a platter. We've heard this one before. Does Daryl Morey need to make a trade this year, before or after the deadline? Josh.
This is obvious. This is so obvious to me. Because I don't want to hear this again. And Daryl Morey needs to make a trade before the deadline. I don't care. I don't care if it's not potentially the best trade that he could get. Because you might never get the best trade that you could get. Daryl Morey doesn't need to make this trade for anyone but 3 people. Me, you, Max, and you, Banners. That's who he needs to make this trade for. So we don't have to do this again next year. I am not waiting until the offseason at this point. Even people can be like, oh, you got to make it for Embiid's window. No, just stop. I'm going crazy, boys. I'm going absolutely crazy having to do this. I swear that we've had this question on the show last year, or at least something extremely close to it. I'm just really tired of kicking my feet around, because at what point is enough enough? We can do this song and dance every year where we really evaluate, what are the Sixers' chances? They were the 1 seed last year. None of that means anything, and none of that will mean anything if you really go into your playoffs without like a number 2. I mean, we talk about that whole, is Toby a number 2? He's not a number 2. Everyone, let's stop trying to talk that into existence.
Stop trying to make Toby as a number 2 happen. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Exactly. It's just like fetch. But boys, I mean, it's just, to me, it's like so simple. Like, I don't care. This isn't about Harden. This isn't even about Halliburton as much. It's about giving your team a legitimate chance to win the finals, because we love Embiid. We love Maxey. This team has no shot to win the finals. They have no shot to win the finals if you don't go out and make a huge move. It's as simple as that. Banner, I know you're stuck on Harden, and I can't blame you for that. Like, it's James Harden. Show of hands. Does anyone think they have a chance as of right now to win the finals? Like, if they go into the playoffs with this team? Yeah.
Right now, no.
Exactly. And if you don't move Ben before this deadline, no player is going to tip the needle for you to even begin to raise your hand. And that's what it is. I'm just tired of pushing into the future. Obviously this isn't about a rebuild. This isn't about a process. This isn't even about a retool. It's just the facts are you have to give yourself a chance. And I don't care if that's John Collins. I freaking hate John Collins. But John Collins is a lot better than nothing. I'm sorry if it's short-sighted.
That's the line for me.
John Collins? Because that's the line for me. I think we're just
line for me.
This is the line. I'm like right here. You're right there. I'm that much sicker of Ben Simmons than you are, and this whole freaking thing. I'll pass it on. I do want to chat more, but that's like my opening statement regarding this whole issue, man.
Yeah, Max, and I phrased the question poorly. I apologize. So Josh is going all in. Obviously, you can't trade past the deadline. That's pushing it into the off season. So Max, if you're Morey, or does Morey need to make a trade to push this team into finals contention?
Yeah, absolutely. This team is not a finals contender as is. Honestly, I hate to say it, but I would say the Sixers would be very likely candidates for a first round exit given their current roster.
I so agree.
A 7 game series is tough, especially when teams, like obviously Embiid is good enough, right? He's good enough to do it, but that you're asking for 7 games of a consistent Tobias Harris, you're asking for 7 games of a consistent 3-point shot, which this team still seems to struggle with. I'm not going to say we're going to question Tyrese Maxey anymore. I know what I'm getting out of him. He's maybe not an elite facilitator of the ball, but he is aggressive. He scores consistently, something we have not been able to say about our starting point guard for the last couple of years. And I know what I'm getting out of Maxey. Yeah, I'm not going to expect 20 out of Maxey every night, but I know Maxey's good for hard defense, maybe not great defense, but he's going to play hard. He's going to get you 14 to 16 guaranteed every night. He's going to do the small things. The dude is well respected on the team. He's starting to evolve into kind of like a mini leader at times. I see him getting more vocal as the years gone on. I mean, obviously he is not, the same level as Embiid is, but I think it's more so finding your sea legs. At this point he's established in the starting lineup. He's not proving himself as a, I don't know if I'm starting level quality, all that stuff, right? We're deep enough into the season to know Tyrese Maxey is a legit NBA starting point guard at this moment in his career. So I think there's pieces there, right? And maybe the recency bias is strong. I forget which one of you two brought this up. I think it was you, Banners. This idea of trading with the Kings in season and making the team appealing enough that James Harden wants to jump ship, that idea has not detached itself from my brain. And it really, really did not help watching Tyrese Halliburton put up by far a career high 38. Like that was a full 10 points higher than his previous career high. He never had a 30-point game. He put up 30. I mean, dude went off against the Sixers, right? And
would you
and
trade
that has
Simmons
not
for Halliburton straight up?
No, because you still have the leverage to get more out of this. Like,
can I cut in real quick?
Go for it.
Here's a better way to phrase that question. If on February 10th you get that on Twitter, Simmons gets traded for Halliburton straight up, are you happy or are you mad?
I'll be happy whenever this is over, as long as it's not John.
I'd be ecstatic. I'd be ecstatic.
That's truly the line for me. John Collins is truly the line for me because he does not make this team better.
So that's where this is so subjective. Like, I personally would fall into the, like, first of all, let me say this. If Ben Simmons was playing, we wouldn't be seeing this from Tyrese Maxey. So this is kind of and Mark Farzetta had a similar take earlier this morning. So I have to give Ben Simmons credit for unleashing Tyrese Maxey. Okay? Let's put a line in the sand right there. The only positive thing to come out about that man in upwards of 5 months. Now, this is so subjective because, like, I can't make a trade unless it fits the team. Like, just trading to trade doesn't make sense to me. Like, John Collins, I would be so upset. Like, I would turn off all the lights and just sit in my office. Like, it's just like fetal position. Like, it doesn't work. Like, I'm trying to look at I can't come up with a package around the league that would make me, like, you don't have to get market value for Ben Simmons, like an all defensive player and a great transition player. You don't have to get market value for him, but you have to get value. And I can't call John Collins value. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't fit. It's not value.
No.
To me, it just doesn't work.
You think you're in pain watching Tobias Harris around Embiid? Josh, you would literally blow your brains out if John Collins is put in the role Tobias Harris is.
I don't disagree.
Hold on, really quick. I'm all for calling Tobias the spade. Like, he's probably not the guy you want as your number 2. John Collins is not even close to a number 2 option on a legitimate contending team. Like, not even close.
No, I agree.
He's not
I mean,
even
it's
an
not going to
offensive
be
option
Simmons.
to me.
It's also, it wouldn't be just John Collins, but the sad part is, like, the reality is John Collins would probably be the best part.
Like who else would we even get from the Hawks? Kevin Herter, like he's not a knockdown shooter.
Don't
like,
tempt me with a good time with Red Lightning. Okay,
I like him.
like,
I think he's a good player, but he's not a stand in the corner knockdown shooter guy. He's more proactive. He's more proactive. Like when he gets
like
the
I'm
ball
looking
swings,
around
his first instinct is not always to shoot. From what I have seen from the Hawks games,
I'm looking around the league and like the team that pops up if we're like taking the Kings off the table, like they supposedly have with Halliburton. Like to me, I would look at the Pacers for like Sabonis and.
I mean, at least you'll have a niche, right?
Wait,
like if you go
wait.
for Sabonis, at least you can. Like.
Wait, am I hearing you would rather have Sabonis than Ben Simmons? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that something I got flamed for? Absolutely roasted for. Almost a calendar year ago today.
That was funny. No, that was way longer than a calendar year. That was pre-Christmas in 2020. That was early in the season.
That was pre the dunk. Like what Brogdon's hurt, right? So like I can't look at the league and find I'm sure there's scenarios out there that somebody could work up in a trade machine that would entice me, but like you got to get some kind of value. So to me, like I'm holding off. Like me, Josh, you're upset. I am completely content with every 2 weeks getting some kind of new news story that Ben Simmons wasted even more money on NFTs and is like I'm content with that. I'm happy watching suffering. It's kind of cathartic, you know what I mean?
But once April comes around, the only suffering you'll be watching is yourself in the mirror. Because like this team isn't going anywhere in the playoffs if you don't do anything.
We knew that as soon as Simmons told us he was holding out.
But I mean, then that's why I'm saying I'm done with it. I'm not waiting. You know, we've been doing this every year. Just make a move. Just make a move at the deadline. Give yourself a chance. You got to give yourself a chance.
Stop you from Josh. I'm trying to help you for the future, man, because I can see you. I can see you on the same screen in 6 months. I can look at you, Josh. I can see the future right now, and you're going to come back and say, "Wow, we got nothing for Simmons." And hindsight might be 2020, and I almost kind of wish we got more, and we didn't. And now we're here. I don't want that for you, Josh. You're better than that. I don't want that for you.
Every day doesn't play. I mean, you're acting like his value's at least going to stay the same. I feel like it's just going to go down. You know, that's the other thing that I didn't.
You never know. Stock markets are volatile.
Hey, that is a good point. I mean, I think what we were all waiting for also was like what Howie was waiting for with Ertz, I think, which is someone goes down. Like basically, they were waiting for like Draymond Green to go down or something like that, and it hasn't happened. Right.
Yes, it did. The Warriors won nothing. The Warriors won nothing.
Who'd you want back from the Warriors?
Klay Thompson. That's a joke.
Sit down. Stand up and then sit down.
Yeah.
My God. Question 2 here, boys. We're going to move right along. Question number 2. Max, I'm going to come to you first here. When you look at the Sixers team, and this is kind of where the title goes. When you look at the Sixers team, there's some names you wouldn't have expected to see a couple years ago and odd fits and underperformers and streaky performers and players we just straight up are over with, not counting Ben Simmons. So when you look at the Sixers team, who's here for the long haul? Who do you see and is like, oh, okay, outside of Embiid, that's here for the long haul?
Well, the long haul in the NBA is dead, right? Like there is no such thing as the long haul in the NBA, right? So we're all walking into the meat grinder here with this question. I just want to preface this. With that said, the only name that I truly feel comfortable saying is Tyrese Maxey. Ball handlers are at a premium. The Sixers, I don't want to use this term lightly, but the Sixers have some trauma with their last couple of point guard selections. And, I think it would be nice to maybe not have to worry about that for a while. Like, I don't even want to say Embiid will be here in like if we're doing 5 years, like I can't say anything about Embiid in 5 years. 3 probably. 5 is, in 5 years, who knows what the NBA is going to be like? But by that point, half the guys who made the All-Star team this year are probably going to be on different teams, if not more. So it's basically impossible to project NBA long term. But the only one I consider a real true building block is in the value of that player to the franchise he's already on is always going to be, it's always going to be higher to them than it is to others. Like perfect example would be Damian Lillard to the Portland Trailblazers. And I think Maxey is slowly, and obviously Embiid is that as well. But I don't think anyone was really ever like Embiid never got floated as a potential moving piece because he is one with the Sixers at this point, right? Like no team wants to deal with that besides us. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm glad that that's how it happened. No relationship is perfect, as they say. So I think at this point, the only one I consider a building block is Maxey. I mean, if you guys want to try selling me on somebody else, feel free. But what am I going to do? Say Isaiah Joe is going to blossom into the sniper that we need him to be, and he's going to be a Sixer for life? Like, I can't do that.
Josh, long haul. Take a look at this Sixers team. Who's here?
All right, so Max, I do get what you're saying, and I don't disagree. But I do, for long haul, I guess it depends on what you think of it. But I guess if I'm the GM, I look at the skill, the age, and the contract and say, these are guys that I want on my roster for the foreseeable future, and I expect them to get better. Let me start by saying guys who are not the building. Like Seth Curry,
You
Toby,
wash
obviously.
your mouth with soap.
He's 31, he's a little inconsistent. Like I'm not going to lose sleep over losing Seth Curry. I mean, he's been great, but come on. All right, let's take a look here. Maxey's the obvious one. Matisse Thybulle. I was surprised you didn't even consider Matisse Thybulle.
No chance.
No chance. Really? No chance?
I promise you. He'll be gone. Promise you. One way or another.
Listen, I value his defense so much. I get it. I think the days of hoping that some offense
in 3 years when he's still averaging 6.8 points a game, but is still a pretty good defender, like just get someone who's 22 that can do that.
I mean, I guess that's true, but he is still super young, right? Like he's 24 years old. It's not like just give him 2-3 years here. I love his defense. He's not going to be too expensive.
The thing is, we've already given him 2 or 3 years, and he's not. He is what he is at this point. I like Thybulle. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good piece, but I don't. He's absolutely a perfect trade value. Like he's a perfect trade asset.
Sure,
perfect trade.
Sure. I mean, look, he is a trade asset, but I think he's a very valuable asset. Like teams value Thybulle and his defense. And I personally value Thybulle's defense because look, I get the whole offense thing, whatever. Anyways, he's getting paid $2 million to be non-debatable, one of the best defenders in the NBA for $2 million at 24 years old. Give me that. Just like Shake Milton. No, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's a building block. Yeah, I'm done with the Furkan thing. Isaiah Joe, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's a building block. So, Paul Reed. I'll throw Paul Reed out there. And I'm not going to say building block, but that's a guy that I believe in still. He can be a legitimate 4-5 backup in the NBA, and he's not getting paid a top dollar. And then also another guy that I'd love to have right back here, even though it goes against the Paul Reed thing, Andre Drummond. Anyone got qualms with Andre Drummond?
Not he's going to get money somewhere.
That is true.
I hate to say it, but he's totally playing himself into a good pay contract. Hey, I don't blame him. I can't blame the guy.
You're absolutely right. But look, the fact of the matter here is that there's not a lot of building blocks. I named 2 that I firmly believe in Thybulle and Maxey. And your reservations, Max, very understandable. The offensive game just simply isn't there. But like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, what are we really building around other than, of course, Joel Embiid? And look, that's a pretty large building block. And I'm not going, 1A. I'm not putting the Sixers up against these other teams and comparing them. But the fact that you've got 2.5 real building blocks and a few other nice pieces that make the other building blocks look a little fancier, that's not winning basketball. And I think that ties back into, the last question about the trade deadline. You got to go out there and get a building block. And you can with Ben Simmons. You can just add another third building block because, like I said, you have nothing right now. You have nothing right now. Why not get something? What do you mean? Are you acting like they have something, Banners?
Well, I don't know what you consider a building block because you threw out John Collins as your first and only suggestion. I don't. All right.
Do we need to rewind the tape and have me like re-say what I meant? I meant that like John Collins is my line for like, do I want it? No. Would I like regret it? Like, would I be miserable if they did it?
Yeah.
Not really, because I'm not sick of the situation.
So the question isn't who's a building block. The question is who will be here, and I'm saying no one besides Joel Embiid. Saying no one, including Tyrese Maxey. Because look at the Houston teams that Daryl Morey built.
Oh,
who was there through the draft? No one.
Literally no one.
Literally no one was from those drafts. So he's gonna do it. You know what? Let me not say that as a matter of fact, because it's not, because he hasn't done shit yet for the 76ers, which is crazy. I don't like. It's kind of hard because there's like a small percentage in the back of my mind that's like, wow, he might actually be like trying something new. Like, he hasn't tweeted that much. Like, this doesn't seem like the old Daryl Morey. Like, did he go see some kind of Sherpa? Did he like take ayahuasca or something? Like, is this like a new, like, is he trying something different? Like, is he best to start wearing polos and something? I don't. Who are we really dealing with here? So that's kind of a fear of mine. But
I will give
in
him
the
credit
past,
for the Drummond signing.
I do too. There's been good signings and everything.
Yeah,
like
it just
that,
hasn't really been active. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, it's super weird.
It is definitely atypical of how he operated in Houston, but I don't know if you want to look at it. Devil's advocate, if can't make a bad deal, can't make a bad move if you don't make any moves. So, dude, the guy walked
he was
into
never afraid of. He was never afraid of a big swing biting him in the ass. And this is like this isn't the new norm. Let me state that right now. But that fact is in the back of my mind. So
fair.
Going off of history, I can see Maxey and Thibault being a part of a big package for someone. I don't know who, I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know why, but I can just see it. I can feel it.
Let's do it.
Question number 3 here, boys. What's that?
I was just saying, I just remember I feel so dumb because I think I called at least one of those guys untouchable in a previous episode, and it's just like, God, like, that's just ridiculous.
Oh, I called Matisse Thybulle untouchable plenty of times. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and
no one's perfect. No one bats 1,000.
Let's do the deal. Real quick about Morey. The last trade he made last March, George Hill. That was the last trade he made for the Sixers, was for George Hill, which seemed like a good move at the time. I liked the move at the time. It was a terrible move in practice. And
George Hill, man, just gets by on name. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything anymore. How is he still in the NBA? He hasn't done shit in like 3 or 4 years, I feel like. Good for him. I don't want to.
I also think
did George Hill break Daryl Morey?
No, don't go there. I want to give Morey like a quick pass also, because if you look at Houston, one of like the best things he did was like skimming the talent pool of like the G League and like these fringe NBA guys. And now because of COVID, all those guys are just getting picked up anyways. And it's kind of, taking away one of his best qualities. Like, not that Miles Powell is like I love Miles Powell in college. Miles Powell's not doing anything for this team. So
Charlie Brown Jr. doesn't do anything for you?
Was he already here? I'm not sure.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, all right, Morey.
He was not. Oh, this is an interesting question. And we've had somewhat of these conversations beforehand, but we want to dive into specifics now. We're going to take the same question, but we're going to walk it right across Packer Ave to the link. So looking at this Eagles roster, who's here for the long haul? And the long haul is a lot different than it is in the NFL than it is in the NBA. So Josh, when you look at this Birds team, what players do you see sticking around? And you know what? Let's remove quarterback from the board.
Oh,
let's remove quarterback from the board. All right, okay, you got to think. Oh, sorry. Let's remove quarterback from the board. What Eagles player do you see sticking around?
Well, I'm still going to say Jalen Hurts because Max wanted me to, and I wanted to also. So there you go.
It's like the Bart meme. It's like, say the line, and Josh says, and the whole class goes nuts.
There you go. Jalen Hurts. The scary part about this question, boys, is the list for the Eagles, who have a 53-man roster, and the list for the Sixers, who have a 12, 15-man roster. It's not much larger. It is not much larger than the Sixers list of building blocks, especially when you remove my guy Jalen Hurts. Well, no running backs. Why would you keep any of these running backs around?
Sure.
Give me Dallas Goedert. One big Dallas Goedert guy, and the Eagles have shown that. You know, like the whole offensive line. Does that count?
Can't count Kelsey. I can't count Kelsey. You got to give me players because I can't just give you the offensive line. So you can't count Kelsey for the long haul.
That's fair. So you can't count Lane either. So give me Mailata.
I'll give you Lane. I'm going to say Lane Johnson personally.
All right,
really.
Give me Mailata. Give me Dickerson, and then for the sake of give me Dillard. Give me Dillard. I like Dillard. I'm not building a block around him, but like that's one of those. I don't feel like he needs to replace him. He looked good.
Leave.
He looked good. I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they will build a block around him. I'm saying like that's a guy I keep. That's a guy I keep for the future. Banners.
It's not going to be our choice, though. Is the thing.
Where?
Just wherever he wants, like wherever your hole is on the offensive line.
Dillard, the guy who's only played left tackle.
Slide him in left tackle. Send Mailata over the other side, dude. I don't think. How long does Lane Johnson really have? Like, let's be real here. 3 years?
But Dillard?
I'm fine.
You know what? This is my fault. I made you think on the fly.
Josh, I'll give you a gentleman's bet that Lane Johnson outlasts Dillard in Philadelphia.
I would take that bet as well.
I would agree too. I'm not kicking him out though. I like Dillard. You know what it is, boys? It's because I said he was going to be the Nate Geary. So then I was waiting for him to fail, and every time I watched him with like eagle eyes, I was like, pretty good, pretty good. Whatever. Banners, agree to disagree there. Let's go to defense because it's scary. This is scary.
Yeah, this is
no one like
no. Williams.
I got one on defense.
I got two, and you're not gonna like.
Oh, I got two. I got a second one.
I love Avonte Maddox. Give me Avonte Maddox.
I can see that's my number 2 on defense. Yeah.
Give me Milton Williams. Give me Avonte Maddox, and like, can I like half say Davion Taylor for like personal choice? I love Davion Taylor.
Jesus,
I'm not calling
dude.
him. And you know what? Here's another one. Jake Elliott.
Damn it, Josh, you son of a bitch! I thought I was going to be able to sneak that one in without anyone saying
no, man, we got our next a better version of Akers, in my opinion. Jake Elliott is that guy. It's hard to have that guy as a kicker.
Banners, that's not full head into the microphone.
What's up today, Banners?
Josh, you are not having your finest showing today with the John Collins stuff. I'm not going to lie,
man. Better version of David Akers, like.
No,
after last year we were calling for heads to roll, and one of them was Jake Elliott.
Well, Cam Johnson can't hold the ball. Cam Johnson couldn't hold the ball, apparently. You got Sipas holding the spikes out. I mean, the laces out.
Oh, my
Jake Elliott can't miss, man.
Oh, my God. Max, bird's eye view, man. Long haul of the Eagles roster.
One major one that slipped through the cracks on offense. My Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver, Devontae Smith.
Thank you.
It's okay. He wasn't going to make it all the way around. Pretty obvious one. It's okay. Everyone has their omissions here and there. I think we talked about the offensive line. I'm not including Dillard. I will say Dickerson. I will say Herbig. I will include Lane Johnson on the cusp, and obviously Mailata just signed the big extension. One that we missed on defense. I think there's really only 3 ones that I can say with certainty. I want to say that hopefully one of the linebackers we have either between come on, Banners, give me a hope here. I'm allowed to hope that one of my draft picks turns into something reasonable here. But the 3 that I think I can comfortably say in regards to defense are Maddox, Milton Williams, and like it or not, Josh Sweat did just sign a 4-year extension, so he's going to be here for at least 2 years and probably 3 unless he's just terrible the next 2 years. So
I think he will be here, but I'm not fawning over him like I was a year ago.
I mean, yeah, I don't think he's going to be a truly elite pass rusher. Would love to be proven wrong, but I think he's solid. Like I think he'll maybe ultimately end up in like that Brandon Graham level where it's like a solid, consistent like 8 to 12 a year, and he's like a good player, but he's not really the superstar elite game changing pass rusher that you want. So yeah, and then Jake Elliott, I do think that this postseason has been a prime example of like kickers matter. Like it's maybe not the most pure thing in the game, but everyone has football's a team sport. Like nothing is more team sport than like I love those pictures where it's like you put a kicker next to DK Metcalf and be like, these guys play the same sport. Can you believe it? Like that's what football is all about, man. Like go watch Rudy. It's team sport. That's what it's all about. So
Rudy was offsides.
I won't say you're wrong. I won't say you're wrong. I will say that we probably have a lot of Notre Dame fans that tune in. So I'm not going to say you're right for the sake of viewership. So yeah, I think that's it. And I'll say this bold prediction: all three or any assets the Eagles obtain with their 3 first-round picks this year will turn into building blocks.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, that's bold.
That might be the boldest prediction in the past 3 months.
Max, that's a Josh level bold prediction, I'd say.
I know. I did. I'm feeling myself tonight. That's just
so we're not putting a number. We're not putting a number on that. If they get rid of one, any picks in the first round,
whatever these 3 picks turn into ultimately, whether that's 3 draft picks or one of them gets traded for a player or 2 of them get traded for a player, whatever these 3 draft picks turn into. As long as give me some leeway if we turn one of these first round picks into a second and a fourth and turn those into pick. Give me some leeway with that, okay? That's all I ask for.
That's fair. So before I get to my list, I want to So Max, you asked for hope for one of the linebackers turning into something, but neither of you expressed hope that Slay sticks around.
I mean, I
think he's just on the inside of long term. Like obviously, I imagine the Eagles will probably be his last, maybe not his last team, but his last true number one top tier corner.
So like Sherman on the Niners.
Yeah, something like
that. Not that
look,
far. I wouldn't go that far. All right, for me, it's like Lane Johnson and Slay are kind of in the same thing, where it's just yeah, they're going to be really good for the next 2 years, but it's like a given almost. You know what I mean? Where it's they're going to be really good for the next 2 years, but I'm not stopping the world over these 2 guys.
Corners drop off the cliff more harshly than offensive linemen, I would say in general. Yeah, I mean, I think Slay will still be good. I just, I don't think you can consider him a building block. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but year after next, I don't think it would happen this upcoming next season. But 2 years from now, dude could just absolutely fall off a cliff. You saw it happen to maybe not the best example. I think this is maybe a bit low ball comparison to Darius Slay, but Josh Norman comes to mind where he was really, really good Pro Bowl. I think he had an All Pro under his one All Pro under his belt. And then it was just slight decline, and then he is the 4th stringer for the Buffalo
Xavier Rhodes.
And
Xavier Rhodes, that's another great one.
Bro,
I mean, kind of a little bit of a resurgence.
Norman,
but yeah, I agree.
As good as
I agree.
And Norman was 4 years younger than Slay is now. When obviously not every cornerback is Josh Norman. It's just that this hesitant pushback where it's he's going to be 32 next year. Who knows when it's going to start coming? That's all. Love Slay.
I totally think Slay can be good though for the next couple of years. I think honestly, I think you're maybe underselling Lane Johnson and Slay. I think they both have a solid 3 more years in it. I think Lane could have up to 5 if his health is good. But I mean, his games missed. The thing is with his games missed is they haven't always been for injury. He misses a handful of games for personal stuff, and obviously you don't want to see that. But I mean the knees are obviously that's the injury concern. But it's not out of just for easy number. If he has 22 career missed games, they're not all 22 for injury. He missed at least 5 or 6 this year or this year and last year total for personal stuff, non-medical, or at least so they say. So just kind of part of my train of thought.
So my list, going across the offense, obviously Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. None of the running backs on the offensive line. Obviously Mailata, Dickerson. Driscoll, I think, is here for a while, and I think Jack Stoll is going to surprise people. I think Jack Stoll is going to be here for a while. That's Jeff Stoutland's pet project.
He's no Tyree Jackson.
Get out of here, dude. Moving across to the defense,
building
I think
block,
it's
Tyree Jackson.
I was this close. I was this close, fellas.
It's really only Milton Williams and Avonte Maddox for me. Jack Stoll's the one.
You're stuck with Josh Sweat banners, like it or not.
I he seems to me like a guy who gets cut in year 3 of his deal just because he's not he's about a tier and a half below Brandon Graham because you're going to get somewhat similar production to Brandon Graham, but you're getting none of the intangibles that Brandon Graham has. You know what I mean?
Fair,
so it's like year 3, they realize like, oh, this might not have been great cut.
And just looking ahead,
my hope for Josh Sweat is that with Derek Barnett leaving, he won't have anyone to commit stupid penalties with all the time anymore, so he won't enjoy it as much. And I think that could really even things out.
It's like you sound like a mom. You sound like a mom talking about like his son's rascal friend moving away.
Dude, tell me I'm wrong. They go, they literally went tit for tat for late hits on the quarterback this year. He's like, they must have been keeping track. I think they must have been.
This
you got one up on me. I got to go crack somebody.
Yeah, exactly. This little convo is very indicative of just the draft. Like, it seems so obvious just based on this. Like, okay, just go and draft defensive guys. It doesn't seem that crazy.
Yeah, shocker. That's what you need to do. I don't know. Like,
it's not like they haven't tried.
Like, there's like 30% of me that wants to say. There's like 30% of me that wants to say Miles Sanders, even though that's completely the wrong move. Like, it shouldn't be done.
I would be lying if I said there wasn't about 30% of me that thinks that if I want to answer this question correctly, I need to say Miles Sanders' name, and I don't like
like there's some like a nagging feeling to me that's just like he's still gonna be here, but everybody knows it was a terrible move to sign him. I don't know. I just like.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
Have that pit in my stomach. 0 touchdowns. 0.
Home run hitter. What? Come on.
He's a winner.
He's a home run hitter who hits a bunch of doubles. I don't want that.
That's true. That's fair.
That's a nice little analogy right there. Don't talk about baseball, not right now.
You're not going to like later, my friend.
No, I know. We're going to get to that, and I don't know if I have a soapbox in me this week, but we'll see when we get there.
Give it a month.
Before we get to our halftime and our favorite segment of the week, I'm going to tell you about our friends over at PHL Sports Nation. Philadelphia Sports Nation, covering all your favorite Philadelphia sports teams across blogs, social media, podcasts, gambling picks, and more. Head over to PHL Sports Nation or any of their social media accounts. Give them a follow, give them a check out, and Trust the Picks is there as well. So Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. And I'm just realizing that I didn't change the graphic, so I'm going to change the graphic twice. And we're going to head into our favorite segment of the week, winners and losers of the championship weekend, which, guys, we thought, let's not make any bones about this. Divisional weekend is still the best round, or still the best weekend of football out there.
100%.
But we had a great championship weekend. So with that, you know how we do it. We're going to go around losers first. We're going to go around the same order. Josh, you're a loser, and you know what? Let's narrow this down this week instead of just teams. I know we've done this in the past a little bit, but we're going to make it necessary to be more specific this week. Your loser of championship weekend.
This is one that surprises me. And you guys know me. I'm the biggest Mahomes guy. And I'm not going to say it's just Mahomes. I'm kind of forecasting for the future already. It's Patrick Mahomes' legacy, because in, the sports talk world we get in, we like talking about the big game and did they win that big game and how many rings did they have? That's really what it comes down to. And winning the Super Bowl year 2, everyone, including myself, was writing this guy as the next golden guy because why wouldn't he be? He looked like the next Brady, looked like the next GOAT in this league. And listen, I guess you make the case for Andy Reid too, but that seems a little less sexy of a topic to me. I think that Patrick Mahomes' legacy is coming in question pretty quickly. And he's at a point in his career where you can't really be talking about a guy's legacy yet. But it's going to be games like this, and it's going to be the Super Bowl last year, where people are going to look back on his career, I think, and be like, is Mahomes that guy? And to that point, he's not the only quarterback in the AFC, fellas. We know that. Joey B has really catapulted himself. It's Mahomes, Allen, Joe Burrow. I don't know if Mahomes is this golden god that people like me, I'm not saying, everyone, but I was very guilty of this, writing Mahomes off to be the next great quarterback in the AFC. So Mahomes' legacy, big loser this weekend.
Woof. Max, your loser of championship conference weekend.
So my big loser this week would be Italians, and that's really boiling down to two certain people. Obviously, in the Niners-Rams game, Jimmy Garoppolo, noted Italian-American, got exposed for the extremely mediocre quarterback that he is. In the purest form of irony, whoever was showing that game, Fox showed a screenshot of a Deebo Samuel tweet defending Jimmy Garoppolo, and then quite literally the very next play, Garoppolo throws him a terrible ball over the middle and gets him absolutely exploded. And then my other losing Italian would be Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, allowing the Bengals to do whatever they wanted on offense. And this is going to detract from my winner if I get to take them, but the Bengals, they for whatever reason, they have a bottom 5 or 10 offensive line in the league, but for some reason, that team against the blitz, just don't blitz the Bengals. That's if you're a Rams fan, just don't blitz Joe Burrow ever. Your front four will get home with no issues, and you'll have all these people to cover the really good receivers with. Steve Spagnuolo did not employ this tactic and consistently chose to leave his cornerbacks one-on-one. A terrible example of this is the Jamar Chase touchdown, or a good example if you're a Bengals fan. But that's the big egregious example that jumps to my mind. So shame on you, Steve Spagnuolo and Jimmy Garoppolo, for shaming the great Italian name in this country.
All right.
You wanted specifics.
I absolutely love that. My loser is going to be the Rams, boys. And they fall victim to the NFL loving its formalities, because the Rams are the away team in their own building. Yeah. And I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be forced to go into the visiting locker room at SoFi Stadium, which of course it's SoFi Stadium, so it's obviously exceedingly nice. But the NFL is just absolutely in love with these just minor, stupid inconveniences.
That's so dumb.
That is gonna have Los Angeles, like they're I can just see, like, I would be so upset having to walk in, park in my normal parking spot, walk in, and then it's gonna be like inconvenient to get around to the visiting locker room. Like, it's gonna be weird. Like, it's, to me, that's like, if I was a Rams player, I would be super annoyed.
I'm kind of with you. I think that if you're the Bengals, you want the Rams in their home locker room. I think, like, if you're the Bengals, I think, like, you want the like, you've been thriving as the underdog this whole postseason, right? Like, everything's against you. You want this to feel like an away game. Like, you want this to feel like you're going to Tennessee to play the 1 seed, or you're going to Kansas City to be the 2 seed. So maybe the Rams are the loser because of this.
It's annoying. And to me, like, if I'm the Bengals, like, I don't want to be in the home locker room. Like, not like take the Rams point of view away from it. Like, if I'm the Bengals, like, I don't want, there's going to be some young kid on the Bengals who's going to think he's like big and tough and like try and mess with somebody's locker. So when they come back for the day when they clean out their lockers after the season, there's like something's out of place and like something's done to the locker. Like, you don't need that before the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So, like, just go into the visiting locker room, do your business, be about the game. To me, it's just super freaking weird. Like, there's all these stupid things about the NFL that just don't make sense, that could easily be fixed, that aren't tradition, that aren't like old times and purist, and just doesn't need to happen. So,
real quick,
unless I'm missing something.
Why are the Rams the away team?
I could not tell you.
I feel like it should go to the team who is the higher seed, or the lower seed, which is the Rams. They should be the home team.
It's weird, dude. This whole thing is odd. Winter time, Josh. Your winner of conference championship weekend.
My winner of conference championship weekend is Odell Beckham Jr. This guy
Yeah.
he went from star receiver to guy who made one catch to kind of just not liked at all by anyone, including myself, especially Eagles fans. But he was unliked by 31 NFL fan bases for a while. And then when he was getting into it with the Browns and on Twitter, he was unliked by 32 NFL fan bases, it felt like. Talk about a flip of the switch mid-season. I mean, all it takes is Mr. Beckham Jr. to post a Twitter video, and now this guy's in the Super Bowl after he started in Cleveland. That's a winner right there. And he's not doing this riding the coattails. He's a great second option. The reception's over cashed easily with Odell Beckham Jr. And last of all, him talking to Deebo Samuel, just being like nice guy OBJ after that. That's something that's always going to stick with me, right? For as many times as I think about him peeing on me as an Eagles fan at that Giants-Eagles game, I'll also think of this Deebo Samuel moment too, where that wasn't fake. That wasn't for the cameras. That was real. Like, hey man, like you're great. Like I love that, and I just love a nice change of the. I can't know. He went from an antagonist to a protagonist, I think, and. What's more winning than that? I absolutely love to see it. And listen, I have no idea what I'm betting on the Super Bowl yet, but I will take an OBJ prop. I'll tell you right now.
Max, your winner from championship weekend.
Winner, sportsmanship. No, I'm just kidding. The unquestionable winner of this week to me is the Cincinnati defense. I mean, an absolutely lights out performance on the road. Noted Twitter troll Eli Apple made one play all game, and by God, it might have been the biggest play of the Bengals' whole postseason. From the moment they tackled Tyreek Hill inbounds with no time left on the first half clock, the Bengals were never losing that game. They came out in the second half. The defense held Kansas City to negative yards into the in the course of the third quarter. The Chiefs had 2 or 3 first downs the whole second half of the game. It was really, really impressive. If you go back and you watch the breakdown of the interception, total team effort. The Bengals defensive line gets home to force pressure. Their second level is covering
Jesse
well.
Bates, man.
Jesse Bates is should the Bengals win the Super Bowl, he will be a big reason why. He will most likely have, if the Bengals win, Jesse Bates is probably involved in a turnover in some which way, shape, or form. We know Matthew Stafford will sail one every now and then. I think the Bengals defense, talk about the whole underdog and being disrespected thing. That Bengals defense, they would have shut out anybody anywhere in the second half of that game. They played so exceptionally well. It's really, really hard to understate how dominant they were. It was really, really impressive.
Trey Hendrickson, you see him like covered in blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like talk about biting down on the mouthpiece and knowing the moment. It was pretty special.
He was a great pickup for them too. Him and Von Bell are paying dividends for that Bengals defense. They could still use a little work, but if they do a little work to that defense, this Bengals team is going to be dangerous for a very long time. My winner is going to be the shift in my winner is going to be the veteran. No. It's going to be the veteran mentality, like the statesman. You know what I mean? So you see, like, and this is one of the last people I would have expected to see this from. As soon as Eli Apple, who was not the person you should credit on that interception,
not the interception, the tackle before
or the tackle. I'm sorry, yeah. You see Eli Apple come out and try and dog Tyreek Hill on Twitter, and Tyreek Hill takes the high road, dude. If you're in a position, if you ever in your life find a position where you have been high roaded by Tyreek Hill via Twitter, you got to stop, take a lap, and then sit down and reflect, and come back to me with a 1-page essay about why that will never happen again. Because that's just like
tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's like front and back. Okay, that's no bueno for you. And then let's be honest, Jaquiski Tartt should have had that pick, and then he comes back with the unnecessary roughness hit to the head the very next play.
Oh, that was
not a good look.
I didn't even realize that. Oh man,
it was
brutal.
Literally the very next play cost his team 15 yards after pretty much a game-sealing pick. you got to give credit to the dude for immediately stepping up to the mic and owning it and saying, yeah, this was me. This is the moment I dreamed about. This is my fault. Like, I should have done better. So
and he's a good player, too.
He really is.
Yeah.
I really do like him. So the elder statesman, I guess you can call him, but the veteran mindset of players taking a step up and putting some positive words out there after the fact. Again, seriously, if you ever find a position where Tyreek Hill high-roaded you, take a step back. Going to get into our second half here real quick. Rapid fire. Our first question, obviously the news of the day. I don't know how we made it a full 56 minutes without talking about this. Well, 50 minutes technically. Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, the greatest professional athlete of all time, has called it quits. And he will never speak to Adam Schefter again for ruining what he wanted to be his moment. But, boys, Josh, will Tom Brady ever play again?
I really don't know. I don't know. I honestly lean towards yes. Like, I think he's not going to be able to help himself, and he might try it out one more time. I don't have any logic. I mean, Brett Favre kind of is like cite Brett Favre from a few years ago. Obviously, not everyone's Brett Favre. Obviously, Tom Brady's older, but cite Michael Jordan as well, right? And Michael Jordan, same thing. Obviously, he was a little younger, but when you get these guys who like have the ability to play and have the passion and the love, I don't know how official this retirement is. My gut leans to we have not seen Tom Brady play, as though it's 65-35. I wouldn't put money down on it. Let's put it like that. But I do lean that he would play one more game at least, or a few more games, give it another go.
Max, have we seen Tom Brady's last? The last team Tom Brady, let me throw this out there, boys. The last team Tom Brady will ever beat in an NFL uniform is the Philadelphia Eagles. Will we see Tom Brady play again? Can we get that? Can we scratch that off of his list of long list of accomplishments?
I truly do think Brady's done. I think that, the whole talks of his retirement, this is not the first year that they've come about. The dude's 44 years old or 45 or however old he is, right? The retirement talks have been going on for like literally almost a decade at this point. And this was the first year he was ever anything but harshly opposed to the idea of retiring. He never entertained it before this year. And I think that I don't think that he wanted to go out like Peyton. And obviously Peyton Manning got a Super Bowl, but I don't think that Brady wanted to go out like not being able to compete at a high level. I think he took a lot of pride in that, making it that far. It's no secret. It's not really a debate that he's considered the GOAT. And I think in his mind, the only way that he really loses that status is if he falls off a cliff and is terrible for the last 2 years of his career. With that being said, I also think on the other side of that coin, I think it helps that he's going to finish second in MVP. He had a really, really good year statistically. Like I think that it's he I don't say he like obviously values team success more, but I think individual success is important to him, and I don't think he wants to go from. It's going to be like impossible for him to recreate this year. It was like one of his best years statistically outside of like the 50 touchdown season, right? It's going to be hard for him to hit these numbers again. I think he knows that Tampa Bay is not going to be as strong as a team next year. And I think that he's done. I think the thought crept into his mind, and I think he saw the stars align and realized that maybe he just, gotta just accept it for what it is and, keep doing FTX commercials for crypto websites and becoming a billionaire. Like, the dude doesn't need the money anymore. He's proved it all on the field. Get out now with your health. Get out now with your records and the fond public memory of you. The dude has done a full 180 in the public eye over the course of his career. He went from lovable underdog to hated
over
pretty
the course
boy.
Of 2 years.
I'd say it's a little bit longer, but yeah, it's been mostly 2 years. I would say it's mostly been 2 years. I would say it's really, for me, at least personally, ever since the Falcons Super Bowl, that was really like the, goddamn, this guy's the best to ever do it moment. And like, for me personally, like I will have, like, some people like just actively like cheering against the best. I like cheering against LeBron, and then he became the best, and I realized that there was a chance I could see the greatest basketball player ever in my generation, like truly the greatest basketball player ever. And that's when I started cheering for LeBron. Like, I want to see all-time perpetual greatness, so I cheer for that personally. And I totally get the other side of the coin. So with that being said, I think that Brady is done. I think that he knows that he rode off into the sunset in his own terms.
Yeah, I think he's done. This to me is a Drew Brees scenario where it's like it's out of nowhere just because the switch flipped. And Max, you make a great point. Tampa Bay is going to be a different team, and I think the signs were kind of pretty clearly put in front of us. Like NFL teams, like it's just not a normality that they run it back right with the same exact roster. That should have signaled to us like, hey, this is to take a phrase from another GOAT, this is the last dance. Like, hey, this is our shot right here. No matter what happens, this team has to look different in the coming seasons. But a lot of people thought that Tom Brady would still be there and it would look a bit different around him. Like even those Patriots teams, they changed all the freaking time. Willie McGinnis left. Ty Law left early in Tom Brady's career. Like it's just the nature of the beast. But to me, Tom, like, he left New England because it was one extreme, and now the rumblings are coming out that he was unhappy with how, like, loosey-goosey it was in Tampa Bay. So, like, he wasn't happy over here, he wasn't happy over here. In the NFL, there really isn't a middle ground. It's all eccentrics everywhere. So to me, I think like in his mind, I have no doubt that Tom Brady is still pretty much like 49-51 on retirement right now. But I think as the days and weeks and months and years go by, he's going to be like, yeah, I don't think I'd be really happy anywhere because I saw what both sides look like and I think I'm cool. And they screamed to me like we're going to look up and he has like 3 more kids on the way and he's going to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm good. I'm cool here. I'm going to ride it out. Max, that point about losing, like not wanting to tarnish the legacy, I think is going to weigh very heavily on him. So unfortunately, I do think we have seen the last pass of Tom Brady's career, the greatest. And I think we all can agree that as much as we rooted against him and quote unquote hated him during his career, it was pretty special to get to watch his whole career.
Watching that Falcons Super Bowl was surreal. It was totally surreal.
So definitely have to appreciate what he did. So Tom Brady, you'll be missed, unfortunately. Second question in rapid fire. Which will happen first? Oh, my God. Kill me.
God.
Which will happen first? The NBA playoffs.
Josh, that was mean.
Or the MLB regular season?
Josh, that was very mean. It's the NBA playoffs. The MLB announced that they don't expect spring training to start on time. Sorry, Banners.
Max, or not, Josh.
I'll be optimistic. Why? We got time, right? April 16th, I think, is the day for the NBA playoffs. They can have a shortened schedule, even if they're late on spring training. They can push the league back 2 weeks. Let's have the MLB start before then. Give me the MLB.
It's going to be the NBA playoffs. We're missing it here, boys. We're like, it's officially like, and I said this in like a much like angrier tone the last time I said it, but like now I think it's just pain that's making me smile and chuckle at it.
Pain without the S.
Baseball no longer matters in America. And it is hilariously depressing because like you have Jesus Christ. There is a 95% chance that the commissioner of baseball tampered with baseballs according to which like games and which teams and which
there's no doubt.
TV schedule got which baseballs. Baseball is no
It feels like it's
longer
a
a
lot of
profession.
work.
It's a joke. Baseball is no longer baseball, let alone a professional sport. It does not matter in the American landscape of sports, and I am bewildered that Rob Manfred somehow managed to do this before people like Bud Selig and the clown. Why is my brain Goodell? Like, how is Manfred the one that let this happen? Like, it's incredible, and it's so we're missing a year. We're missing a year, and baseball is never going to recover unless they drastically change the game. So, the only shot is steroids, boys. The only hope baseball has is to literally put HGH. Yeah, it's not GH.
Whatever it is.
No. Human growth hormone vending machines in the locker rooms. Like, I'm straight up. Please.
Get flavored.
Yeah, dude. Like grape, like cherry, like ice blue. Like, let's. That's the only shot.
Orange.
This is so. Well, I don't know. Maybe not orange. Final question in rapid fire, and this was shocking to me. This blew me away. The Winter Olympics start tomorrow. You know, in case anybody forgot what the Olympics are, or if you're young enough that they haven't mattered in your lifetime, the Olympics are where the greatest athletes from all over the world are supposed to come and test their mettle against each other and prove nationalistic superiority somehow. And even though
it got rules to stop before, so that's cool.
Even though I'm now backhandedly insulting the Olympics, I'll tell you what. There is no better event or throw out the Super Bowl, throw out the World Series, anything. The most electric event to be at a bar for is Olympic swimming. I will take that to my grave. I'll take that to my grave. You have never experienced a 4x4. You've never experienced anything like it unless you've been at a bar watching equivalent? Michael Phelps compete in the 4x4 medley. It's crazy.
All right. Speed skating.
You're wrong.
Okay. Is this one where there's people racing each other on the ice?
Yep. That is.
Okay, I can get down with that one. Okay.
Electric.
I had no idea. No. This is coming from the great grandnephew of a gold medalist Olympic speed skater. You're wrong. Okay. It's the 4x4 medley. To the grave. Book it. But I digress. Did you guys know the Winter Olympics start tomorrow? Like, is that raise of hands? No?
Not.
Nobody? Anybody? Bueller?
No, there was no NBC game this past week. How was I supposed to know?
Yeah. I mean, all right. 2-part question. 1, what is the best part of the Olympics, and why is it the theme song?
There you go. Who cares about the Olympics? ESPN isn't sending one to the Olympics. The worldwide leader in sports is not sending a reporter to the Olympics. Need I say more? I'll watch speed skating, but I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I might watch snowboard. I might watch the snowboarding events. I don't know. So, all right, part 2. Do we care? Anybody? Feel free to answer.
Whenever the U.S. wins, hell yeah. I want us to be the best speed skating or slalom snowboarding country in the world. Fuck yeah. I'm in. Let's do it. And if we don't win, who cares? It's only the Winter Olympics.
Okay, so you say that, but are you going to actually watch anything, or are you just going to look up the medal count?
Hell no.
You're going to look up the medal count 3 times during the Olympics?
I'll see it all over the news.
Yeah.
It'll be us and Russia, and somehow China will be in third, even though there's no real snow in that whole country. Maybe. That's probably not correct of me, actually, but whatever.
At all.
The walk back.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Hey.
I know that when I was growing up, the Chinese were not a threat in the Winter Olympics, but I know they're a threat in everything now.
When I was a kid,
we're sticking to sports here.
If you plan on scheduling around time to watch the Winter Olympics, I mean, good for you, man. More power to you. Let us know how it goes.
If I worked in an office, I'd be a little bit more eager to hunt it out because it is great daytime entertainment. No doubt about it. If you're back in a situation where you're not working from home still, or you're, if you're not at a place where you have no access to TV, like I know you will be, Banners, if you're in an office and you can, you're hooked up to your office Wi-Fi, like hell yeah, open up the NBC app and watch some some skiing big jump qualifiers. Why the hell not? What else are you doing?
I like that name, skiing big jump. I don't know what it's called.
An event.
No, it's not.
They do the super stiff legs.
It's not called big jump. It's not called big jump.
What's that, Alpine? No. Big air, I think.
No, that's X Games. You're thinking of X Games.
Okay, so that's my point. Everything that the Winter Olympics took from the X Games is worth watching. Anything that is original Olympic property
it's not bad.
Is stupid.
High jump. Is it called the high jump or is that summer?
No, dude, that's in track.
Yeah.
It's track and field.
It's not called
bobsledding is pretty sick. Because most of the time you're dealing with like, tenths of a second differences, and like your medals are like, I don't know, 0.608, 0.611, and 0.615 are like the top 3 placements, and people go nuts when they're literally 4/100th of a second faster.
It's true.
Plus, they're just the baked in Cool Runnings references. So
true.
It's called ski jumping. So I mean, it's not that.
No, there's a specific one, isn't there? Is there not a specific like big jump or big air one? Like
I'm pretty sure it's called Alpine because they throw like I'm pretty sure it's called Alpine because they throw like pine needles on the landing so they can see it. Are we talking
about 3 different events?
We might be.
All I know is I'm talking about the one where the skiers come down, they hit the big old ramp, they got the extra long skis on, and they just
no, Josh, you're talking about the one they go for distance. Max is where they shoot you straight up in the air.
I think
I'm done with it. This is why we don't care about the Winter Olympics. This is why.
Yeah. Oh God. Before we get out of here, before we do tap outs, if you didn't join us live, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Anchor, anywhere in between. And a reminder to check out Trust the Picks over at phlsportsnation.com. Our guys Josh and Max over there giving you some free picks to make you some money. But tap us out for you, gentlemen. I want to go first here. Commentary aside, because there's really only one right side to this. The news that just came out with Brian Flores filing a civil suit against the NFL. There's only one right side to this. Yeah. The fact that Bill Belichick not only let Brian Flores know this was happening, but he did it by mistake because he thought he was texting Brian Daboll is insane enough. And you know what? The tinfoil hat in me wants to say that Belichick did it that way, so he has some deniability. Like that, just I don't know, but like, there's only one right side. The NFL has a problem. The Rooney Rule is not working. Hopefully, Brian Flores' civil suit against the NFL makes some noise because as we sit here right now, Mike Tomlin is the only black head coach in the NFL. It is 2022. There has been so much lip service, and Mike Tomlin is the only black coach in the NFL. That being said, it is so John Elway to show up late to a coaching interview looking disheveled like he just walked in hungover. That is the most John Elway thing I have heard in decades, and I've only been alive for 2.5 decades. That is so on brand. I'm not even surprised. Like it's incredible to me. So the long short of it, John Elway is still the California-born, locks flowing in the wind, I'm going to go out and have a good time party boy that he was when he came out of Stanford. And the NFL has to do better. And hopefully Brian Flores just sacrificed a lot of money and a lot of potential jobs to attempt to be the force, the change agent for the NFL. I hope it works.
Yeah. Are we saying that Bill Belichick did a fake text on purpose, or as they say in Curb, and on purpose wrong text or something like that? It's pretty.
The tinfoil hat in me kind of like, if you see the text messages,
I have not.
He texts Brian Flores. He's like, "I see you've landed," and he's like, "Have you heard something I haven't?" And Belichick just responds, "Giants?" ? And Flores responds like, yeah, like I think I have a shot at it. Belichick doesn't respond. Flores double texts and goes, wait, coach, are you talking to Brian Flores or Brian Daboll? Just making sure. Bill Belichick doesn't respond for like, I think it was like 8 hours. And he just texts back. He goes, sorry, I messed this up. And says like 2 other lines. And Flores just responds, thanks.
Oh, God. Bill Belichick just texting in general is funny to me for some reason. I imagine that guy doesn't
He ended
text.
the last text with BB like Hulk Hogan does on his tweets
Yeah.
with the HH. That's all I could think about.
It's like Captain Ray Holt in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like signing your text messages like Dash Raymond Holt. Like it's, I don't know. So yeah, Josh, the tinfoil hat in me kind of thinks that Belichick was doing Flores a solid there. That's my tap out.
I agree with that. My tap out, fellas, is so this. I'm about to be out of here. I'm about to graduate from Temple. That is not the tap out. The tap out is I was looking for some classes to take. I maxed them out in my major. I needed to find some weird class. So I was like, you know what? Microsoft Excel. Let me go out. Let me take a 1-credit asynchronous class and learn how to use Excel. Fellas,
you're not even going to work in an office. You're a sports anchor.
Who knows, man? You never know where life may take you. And
just
after
lie about knowing Excel. Jesus,
2 weeks of doing Excel, I love it. I love Excel. I feel like I've learned so much. I'm creating my own basketball power index with what I've learned in Excel. And I'm going to take it a step further and say in the future, you know how in elementary school you got math, you got reading, you got science. Once you get to middle school, every kid should be taught Excel. It is a super useful tool. It's not that crazy to teach someone. Get Excel teaching in public schools. That is my tap out.
Wow.
Honestly, like if we look at it, like if we just basically overhaul the public school system with, like, take out social studies, whatever that is, take out math that you're never going to use and that can be done by a calculator, take out everything and to replace it with financial literacy and Excel, and I think you've got like a pretty good recipe for success.
It's not the worst. It sure as hell isn't the worst.
Yeah.
It's not a bad tap.
Max, what you got?
Honestly, I don't really have much of anything.
3 weeks, dude.
Yeah, here's a good one. I don't have a snow shovel at my house, so I'm the asshole neighbor who still has mostly unshoveled sidewalks.
Oof. When you
made
make
sure
that
to
trip,
sweep,
get some rock
I
salt.
took a broom to my front stairs. They're in a non-walking area that leftover snow, but it doesn't like really matter. There's no one affected by this, but it's not a great look, and it's not my proudest moment.
Oh man, that's our tap outs. That's it for us here at Trust the Process Live. You can catch us next week. We're gonna give you some winners and losers of the Super Bowl outside of the obviously.
No Super Bowl next week. You got Pro Bowl.
You're right. Oh,
NFC is going to win because Jake Elliott's
winners
the kicker
and losers
now.
of the Pro Bowl, boys. Let's go.
Loser, anyone who watches. Winner, me, because I'm not going to watch.
Ding, ding, ding. That's it here for us on Trust the Process Live. Again, if you didn't join us live, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Anchor, Spotify, Apple, anywhere in between. You find somewhere where not. We'll get right on that. See you next week, Philly. Before, we're brought to you by Mighty Philly, where something's always new.
Everything's
always Philly. Have a good one, Philly.